Yo, 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 what's going on, man? Get back right 3 times, active game blur, 2K game Risky, all that good shit, man. We back on this. Doing a little something different today, man. Doing a little, I guess this is not really like a character discussion, but I ain't gonna be getting into the character discussions, but we gonna be doing a Saints Row discussion. Um, I don't know, cause right now I'm in the mood for some Saints Row talk. You know, I've been playing the games a lot again, going through marathons and shit. I don't know why, but it's just been up. Anyways, man, we gonna talk about as I was playing Saints Row, I noticed something that was the ladder Saints Rows 3. I noticed something that was very stupid when I got to the Johnny Gat death scene. When I was thinking about it in hindsight, that little revamp shit they did in 4, where they said Zinyak captured Johnny Gat because Johnny Gat was just he was just so afraid of him and all this. You know, he thought he could single-handedly wipe out his whole forces and all that shit, so he just captured.
Rather. It would seem your reputation doesn't do you justice.
Earth's most passant warrior?
That's what he called me.
You're telling me he abducted you years before his invasion because he thought you single-handedly could stop him?
Yeah.
That's so fucking awesome.
You realize that means Zinyak's more afraid of him than you, right?
Shit.
Between 3 and 4 but I think it was like, if you're going by, I don't know, because they said Saints Row 2 was like 2011 or some shit. They fucked up the timeline, like they fucked it up, but it was a long ass time before, you know what I'm saying, Zinyak invaded the earth and he was helpless. And they pretty much stated in the game that if the boss didn't come and free him, eventually he was going to break. So that whole Gat could have single-handedly wiped out Zinyak. You know what I'm saying, by him, that shit is you know what I'm saying, they just was julesing. But another thing, you know what I'm saying, we could just going to just jump right into it. So first of all, I hate how they changed Johnny Gat's character from being like his original character in the first 2 Saints Rows was that he was hot-headed, he was dangerous, but he was also hot-headed, and his hot-headedness led him into being injured. Um Saints Row 3, I mean Saints Row 4 really is where they kind of lost their way, because 3 where that was just terrible, right? And they just wanted to go for a shock factor when really they shouldn't have done that. But 4 is when they thought, okay, so people think Johnny Gat is just this unstoppable badass, so let's actually do that. But no, Johnny Gat was never unstoppable. Johnny Gat was just like how can you put this? Johnny Gat was like the sacrificial badass, if you could do it like this. But he could, like, if I could put it into words, but he could never do everything by himself. You know what I'm saying? Saints Row 1, he got caught off guard by well, to be fair, we did too, the boss did too, but he got caught off guard by what's this dude's name, Tony Green, Anthony Tony.
I got this.
Yeah, Tanya, shut the fuck up.
I thought I told you to be quiet.
I got shitty hearing.
Now you got a shitty leg.
So do you. Go now!
Baby, we better call King.
And then he got shot in the leg, and then he got captured, and we needed to rescue him in that same game. And he even got mocked. He got mocked by Dex for being reckless. That was like a thing that Dex was saying, like,
Dex, don't worry, I have a plan.
Johnny, your idea of a plan is taking the biggest hammer you can find and smashing whatever's in your way.
Well, that sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, a shitty one, as your whack-ass robo-leg clearly proves.
Oh, fuck you.
he even had a term for it. He called it pulling a Johnny. We're not gonna pull a Johnny. We gonna be smart about this. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of looked down on for just being like the muscle and not having really no tactics. You know what I'm saying? Julius even told Dex to keep an eye on him when it was when they was talking about the Vice King's arc. They was like, okay, Dex, he's his own lieutenant, but you still gonna have to watch over him.
Man, fuck that. I'll take King out.
Johnny, it's not that simple.
Bullets still kill motherfuckers, right? Doesn't get much simpler than that.
Keep an eye on your boy.
I don't need a fucking babysitter, Julius.
Keep an eye on your boy.
Saints Row 2, what happened? He gets Ish killed for bringing the money to back to her house, even though she keep telling him it's not a gang clubhouse, but he don't listen. And then he gets stabbed.
Gat, get out of the way!
Up. Now a lot of people mention that oh, your player, the boss or whatever, they distracted Johnny. If it wasn't for that, Johnny never would have been stabbed or whatever. But the fact that he couldn't keep fighting, like, I hate comparing like Saints Row 2 to Saints Row 4, but if we going by comparisons and Gat and the boss, okay, so yeah, Gat got stabbed by like this little samurai sword and he was out of commission, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not really that wide in length or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in width. Then here comes the boss getting stabbed in the beginning of Saints Row 4, that little terrorist mission. He gets stabbed by like a how thick was that blade, that fat ass blade that Cyrus had? He gets stabbed right in the gut. He punched Cyrus up and he keep fighting, and then he died for the gun. Then he dies for the gun and shoots him. Then he dies and stops a fucking nuke as soon as it launches. He could do all that, but Gat is out of commission from a samurai sword stab. Now I only bring up, I know it's gonna be people talking about, oh, you comparing Saints Row 2 to Saints Row 4 now. One is unrealistic as fuck. The other one is meant to be more darker and gritty in tone. Okay, but this is the same Saints Row 4 that they try to make Gat, but like be portrayed as this badass compared to the boss, and the boss is not to be taken seriously. And Gat was so dangerous that Zinyak had to you know what I'm saying, store him away and shit like that, and he needed like extra Oleg, you know what I'm saying, maximum security, you know what I'm saying. So you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't have it both ways. Either you know what I'm saying, like, either he's this mega badass in 4 in Saints Row 4, even though the boss had better feats in that game, like I say, stopping the fucking nuke and then landing in the White House and kicking his feet up like on some like, then kicking his feet up while he lands in the White House. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, the thing is, people like to compare Johnny Gat and the boss a lot, but realistically, it's not even fucking close. Like, and I'm not even trying to like compare like gameplay feats. I'm not comparing like in-game feats where you kill a bunch of people, because obviously we're not talking about gameplay. I'm just talking about cutscenes. Like, every time Johnny Gat does something badass, the boss follows up with doing something even more badass than what Johnny Gat did. Like, I think when people get it fucked up is the reason they don't hype up the boss in Saints Row is because the boss isn't meant to be taken seriously. Like, that's kind of like the thing in Saints Row. Else nobody will be willing to, like, gangs would just give up their corporations and shit like that. They wouldn't even try fighting them. If everybody took the boss serious from the jump, there would be no game, because everybody would just be underneath them. There would be no discussions, or no Mero wouldn't have pulled that 2080 nonsense. He would have just gave up most of his business. He would have knew better. But the boss has to be looked at as a joke for the game to happen. That's the meta response. You know what I'm saying? The actual response is, I feel like he just doesn't take the credit for this, or he or she, whoever you play as in your, you know what I'm saying, is your boss. They just don't take the credit for half the shit they do. They, you know what I'm saying, everybody bigs up Johnny Gat but nobody bigs up the person who survives an explosion and is diving through planes and balancing on top of vaults and hell, and even in Saints Row 2, after Johnny Gat gets stabbed up by Junichi or whoever, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the boss fights him, then and fights his 10 students at the same time, kills all of them, and then goes there and goes on to kill the Grandmaster of the whole Ronin.
Did you really think you could match my skill?
No. I'm gonna cheat.
Finish it.
Put Wong on the phone. Hey, Wong, I want you to hear something. Come on, be a good sport. You hear that, Wong? You're welcome. Thanks.
When I escape, the world will not be big enough for you to hide in.
Luckily for me, you're gonna burn to death in a few minutes. Your son never should have fucked with my friends.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to say he cheated or whatever, he still won the fight. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Kills Mero. You know, I'm like, chops off, what's this dude's name's head? Mr. Sunshine, that dude was using voodoo magic. And this was before like the story of Saints Row even really got all like with supernatural and all that. This was before supernatural even came in. You know what I'm saying? He's killing people using voodoo magic and shit. Like, Gat just can't compare, man. I know Saints Row 4 tried to big up Gat and make Gat seem like this unstoppable badass, but even Saints Row 3 didn't think that was the case. If we not before the retcon, Saints Row 3 didn't even think that was the case. Never mind Saints Row 1 and 2, where you had to basically save his ass all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, man, I think it's just the fact that like comparing the boss and Gat is just it's not even close. Like I see people putting them even. It's not even. Like he's the Gat's number 2 for a reason. He's not the boss for a reason. And then they got so salty and Gat out of hell. They were so mad at the boss. I didn't even play that trash ass game. I didn't even get it, because if your game don't have a story, fuck it, I'm not playing it. And then they doing all that singing and all that nonsense. Like, come on. But if they captured the boss as like one of their main plot points. So now the main badass of the Saints Row universe has to be rescued by his number 2 and some nerdy computer whiz. You know, that they randomly propped up because this is the creator's favorite character. This is nobody else's favorite character but the creators. Nobody gives a damn about Kenzie. Of all the female characters you could have had step in with Johnny Gat and Gat out of hell, you chose Kenzie. Come on, dog. So they chose Kenzie and they chose Johnny Gat to go and rescue the badass of the Saints Row universe. You know what I'm saying? And never mind that the boss has to be fucking rescued anyway in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But if we take out all that nonsense and all that shit shouldn't be believable, okay? The devil kidnapped. Okay, so Zinyak kidnapped the boss, whatever. I mean the Gat, whatever. The devil himself kidnapped the boss, the main character, and was going to try to have him court his daughter and lead his army. That pretty much explains it all. I don't really got to go into it. He ain't pick Gat. He didn't pick nobody else but the boss himself. Okay. And for some reason, the boss, I don't know why. I'm sure if you was playing with him, you or her, you would be able to pretty much take over hell by yourself. But they just want to give Gat some shine, I guess. I don't know why. I don't know why they just want to give him some shine. I think when I think about it, if you think about it from a business standpoint, it's actually pretty smart, because Saints Row doesn't really have a mascot. Like, none of the game's main characters is like an actual defined person, you know. barring feats and lines and statements and shit like that. It's not an actual person. It's a created character. So they wanted to give, you know what I'm saying, when you think of Saints Row, they want you to think of a specific person, and they brought back the main staple series, badass of the series. They did it in a lame way, but that's what they was going for. But that retcon just didn't make any sense of what they was trying to do. I get what they was trying to do. It's smart from a marketing standpoint, but the execution was terrible. That's all I'm gonna say on that. The execution was garbage. But yeah, man. Johnny Gat. I'm just gonna go down the list. Johnny Gat in Saints Row 1 gets his leg blown off by Tony. Tony Green and gets captured. You go and rescue him and you kill Tony at the same time. This was the VK's militant enforcer. This was the big man. Besides Benjamin King himself, this was the big man. This was the brute. Saints Row 2, Johnny Gat gets sliced and diced up and caught off guard and all that by Genuichi 101. Never mind like fighting like him and a whole bunch of people at the same time. He's just fighting 101 and getting fucked up. And the boss in that same instance, right after that, he first he takes Johnny to get to the hospital, then he goes and kills the dude and his 10 students. What's after that? Saints Row 3, Johnny Gat launches a dude into a statue with a grenade launcher. You balance on the boss balances on top of a vault, flying some how many 40, 50 stories up in the air while it's crashing into the breeze and shit like that.
Where's the ball? Go to hell! You wanna play, motherfucker? Oh my god! Take you in! Get us high! I'm trying not to get shot here! Get a block where you're flying!
While killing a dozen cops in Morningstar. and then on the plane, Johnny Gat does a little cool, breaks out the boat chair, you know, whatever, throws a Tommy Hawk in a nigga's head. Okay, fuck up Lorena a little bit. And then the balls right after that flies through a damn plane. Like, come on, man. Like, right after every cool thing that Johnny Gat does, like, Johnny Gat's accomplishments are like human. Like, they badass, but they human at the same time. Like, the boss's accomplishments, this shit, like, nobody, the reason they don't take him serious is just because nobody will believe him if you told him so. Like, come on, bro. You skydiving through a damn plane? Come on, stop it, dog. And you stealing somebody else's parachute as you come out that bitch. Like, so that's pretty much all I really gotta come. And then he did it again in the same game. He did it again, and he didn't have a parachute on the second time. Like, come on, son, stop it. You know, he killed Loren by himself. I guess he had some help, but it was really like most of the effort was him. You know, in the first act of the game, I finally understand why the boss became so just lighthearted in Saints Row 3 and wasn't really taking nothing serious, because he knew they was gonna win. He knew he was gonna win. Like, he didn't even take the syndicate and them clowns as the least bit of threat. He didn't even betray them like they was a threat. He was having fun. You know what I'm saying? You sitting over here skydiving, falling on top of you. He set that thing up like he knew Lorraine was gonna get crushed, like in a funny way. You know, I'm like, come on, y'all. He just, I don't even, but you know, he didn't take Killbane serious at all. He was just playing. The only thing that they really messed up with the boss is the Dex thing. Like, that's really the only thing they messed up. Like, I guess he just got therapy and he's like, you know what, man? In Saints Row 2, I was tripping, man. I don't really need to be killing all these people, man. I don't know. Did he get? My head canon is that he got like therapy in between Saints Row 2 and 3. That's obviously what it had to have been. But I'm just gonna go with that. But yeah, man. Johnny Gat in Saints Row 4. That whole Zinyak capturing Johnny Gat because he's just such a big threat. No, he's the number 2. He's always gonna be the number 2, no matter what the game he tries to betray the boss and like a pansy light. No matter what Saints Row 4 says, Cause even when he came back in Saints Row 4, he wasn't like oh man, we got somebody real on our team now. No, it was just like they reunited and they had like a little some dialogue there and shit like that. But it wasn't no like, oh man, now Johnny Gat's taking over. Hell nah, you save Johnny just like you save everybody else. But yeah, man, that whole plot point of why Zinyak capturing Johnny Gat is stupid. I guess Zinyak was just wrong on that one. Gotta do his research next time. Even though the everything's right there in your face, I guess he just wasn't paying attention. But anyways, man, oh man, I could just keep going, bro. The boss almost killing Zinyak in the second mission of the game and shit. If he ain't used his power, Zinyak would have been dead. But yeah, man, I'm that's it. I'm gone, bro. I pretty much then gave all my jewels and everything that's clear in the game. The Gat is not surviving no bold explosion.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a party to...
I'm done. I'm not going no more. I'm done. I'm done for real. Get back where 3 times. Active game, blur 2K game, rights, go already go home, all that good shit, man. You know, I would normally at this point in the video, I would say, man, if you disagree or if you feel like Gat could be the boss, put something in the comments down below. But I don't think anybody will. If there is, I'm just gonna have my other people's flame them. But anyways, man, I'm out, man. I'm gone. Peace.
The Ronin have attacked the Heritage Festival. Mr. Wong won't last against Koji.
Where's Gat?
He ran off to fight the Ronin as they approached.
Sit tight. I'm on my way.